funded by the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland with the television licence fee.
In recent decades, numerous scientific studies have shown that interacting with pets and animals can be hugely beneficial for one's health and well-being. To find out more, I recently met up with horse owner Aileen Byrne in Byrne's stables situated in Allenwood North, County Kildare.
I've been involved with horses since I was probably 9 or 10 years of age.
Wow. So, yeah. So it's going back. And kind of, what do you love most about horses?
Just being around them. They'll actually give you peace of mind. You'd come over here, you'd be in a bad humour and you're around them, and then they're just, I don't know. I couldn't live without them. They're an addiction. Basically,
really?
They're an addiction.
Well, how much of an addiction now? Just try and flesh this out.
Let's put it this way, I spend all my money on my horses. 7 days a week. The money goes on the horses.
That's brilliant. They're your babies in a way.
They're my babies, yeah.
And Aileen Byrne also had this story to share concerning the therapeutic value of horses.
Yeah, it's a friend of mine. She has a child with special needs. He's ADHD and he's cerebral palsy. And his pony is everything. It's therapeutic for him. It keeps him calm. And then from the cerebral palsy point of view, sitting up on the horse and doing his little walks and trots, it just helps with his muscles. And it helps them to coordinate themselves better and get their balance right. But mentally overall, for any children with special needs that enjoy the horses, it's very, very good for them. It's just the horse, it's like a calming. And then the routine of coming and getting up on them, and it's just the enjoyment of it for the children. And then it's good, it's beneficial then for their muscle, particularly with children with cerebral palsy. It's very good for their muscle development and strength.
Throughout our modern Ireland, pets and animals are being used in various settings: hospitals, residential care centres, schools and many other places to help improve the quality of people's lives. For example, Brenda Rickard, CEO of Irish Therapy Dogs, a voluntary association which provides a pet therapy service to people, had this inspirational story to share regarding a certain nursing home she visited with a therapy dog.
I remember one time doing a first visit with a volunteer, and there was this room, the door was closed, and the resident obviously did not like to come out and mix, and that was fine, that was her choice. And I suggested that we go in, so we were brought in, and she was there very sort of low, we'll say depressed. The room was in darkness. But the amazing thing was, when the door opened, she just pulled back the clothes, pulled back the blinds, and absolutely hugged the dog. And from that day, every week when our volunteer went in, we'll say it was a Thursday, I can't tell you now exactly what day, that lady was up, dressed, all ready, and she was absolutely, her whole demeanour changed. She improved actually all round, not only on the day the dog was visited. And she used to look forward so much to the dog coming in that it spilled over into other days as well, that her whole sort of personality and everything changed and improved. And that was another sort of successful therapy visit, if you like, that the dog did for somebody, which is wonderful, because that's what it's all about. Irish Therapy Dogs is bringing that sort of happiness and changing someone's life in a very dark time for them, and bringing such sunshine into their lives, which might not have happened only for our little therapy dog going in and cheering them up.
What's clear from prior commentary is that pets and animals can profoundly impact our lives for the better. In this programme we're going to investigate just how much. Here is Brenda Rickard of Irish Therapy Dogs once again.
If you have a dog, everything has changed, or a cat, or whatever pet. And people talk to them, even for children, families. It gives children responsibility. It gives children something to love and to learn how to love and respect and do things for others. A family is very different that has a dog. you know, there's new responsibilities and a lot of happiness, and gets people out to walk, gets people exercise, gets people a purpose in life.
Giving people a reason to get up in the morning and go out for a walk, because that dog is not going to let you stay in bed.
A dog will get you out of the house, a dog you get walking. Your 10,000 steps, a dog will have you there every day.
Dogs make us move more. We go for walks, we exercise more.
It's a very social and communicative thing to have a dog, and you meet a whole set of new friends, and it's healthy and the dogs are happy.
So it's a win-win for everybody. Like, they really do. They get you out in the world and they get you living.
Animals do so much. The benefits are huge.
It's what you put in, you know, you get back in spades. And if you treat your animals well, they'll treat you well. It's as simple as that.
Most people's intuition tells them that interacting with pets and animals is therapeutically beneficial. But what exactly does modern science say about the issue? Dr. Sandra Barker, Professor Emeritus of Psychiatry at Virginia Commonwealth University in the United States, and also Director of the university's School of Medicine Centre for Human-Animal Interaction.
Pet owners in a number of studies have reported fewer health problems. They have been found to have fewer doctor visits and report better quality of life. There have been some studies showing that pet owners are more physically active than non-pet owners, and certainly physical activity is associated with improved health. And they also have been found, really importantly as well, to provide a form of social support for people. I've had people tell me that their pet is the reason they get up in the morning. They certainly can be a source of protection, and so a number of things that our pets represent can certainly help improve quality of life for people.
And focusing for the moment on dogs, to try learn more about the science behind their therapeutic value for people, I recently visited the Dogs Trust Specialist Rehabilitation Centre, situated on the Ashbourne Road in Finglas, County Dublin. While there I talked with Becky Bristow, CEO of Dogs Trust.
Becky, you have a certain document. You're holding it now. What does this document say, please, for the benefit of our listeners?
Well, this is based on substantial independent academic research that dog owners make fewer visits to their doctor. Owning a dog can reduce your stress and anxiety, reduce your blood pressure. Owners who walk their dogs are healthier than non-dog owners. Owning a dog can boost your immune system. Dog owners are likely to recover quicker from heart attacks. They can help safeguard against depression. They can also, and this is something that's coming up much more these days, can help with the development of children with autism and children with learning difficulties. And then dogs who are specifically trained for this can detect a variety of health conditions such as epileptic fits, cancerous tumours and hypoglycemia. So they pack a big punch there now for that little furry creature you have in your home.
And to discover just how much punch pet dogs pack, well, I decided to visit Killiney Hill Park, situated in South County Dublin, and here's who I met there.
You're talking to Brian Kenny.
Now, Brian, you have two beautiful dogs. Tell our listeners about your beautiful dogs.
Well, when I wake up every morning, the most enjoyable part of it is letting them out into the kitchen, and they jump around, they treat me like I was God, and they give me great happiness.
And Brian, what age are you yourself now?
I'm 77.
77, and kind of, that's, with the dogs, they're loyal, they're loving. I know my own dog at home, he's loyal, loving, and they're always there for you, and it's always an adventure, so to speak.
Every day is an adventure. You take them to different parts most days so they won't get bored. And if you take them to Killiney here, which is beautiful, you take them to different parts of Killiney.
Now, just give a word picture to our listeners, Brian, of your beautiful dog, Ruby, a Cocker Spaniel, yeah?
She's a working Cocker Spaniel, which means she has to be exercised even more than the average Cocker Spaniel. She's very keen on hunting, so when she gets up here into the green part, she loves running around hunting. Nothing pleases her more than running around and meeting other dogs, especially in good weather like this.
And it's a beautiful morning this morning. The sun is shining. You know, it's a blue sky, not a cloud in sight. I mean, and the dogs are happy, and I think we're happy as well.
I think so. We should be. If you've got health and you've got your little dogs and the sunshine, you can ask no more.
And kind of in a way, you know, that brings us to another question, Brian. Do you think having a dog makes you healthier? What's your own opinion from your own life experience?
Undoubtedly. On the days you want to lie on in bed, and that would become a habit, you can't do it because your dog is looking at you. He wants to get out. And when you get out, you are always pleased you went out.
And after my chat with Brian Kenny, here's who I next got talking with in Killiney Hill Park.
I'm Sarah.
Now, Sarah, you have two beautiful dogs. What are the dogs?
This one is Lucy. She's a cockapoo. She's almost 10. And the other one is Daisy. She's a collie of some description.
And Sarah, just for yourself, I mean, you know, what do Lucy and Daisy mean for yourself?
Oh God, like they're a part of the family. Like just, you know, I suppose we've had them for so long now. I mean, I can't imagine not having them. You know, if they're not in the house for some reason, it's too quiet, and they're just part of the furniture. Can't imagine life without them. And just kind of the unconditional love that you get from a dog. Like it's like no other. I just, you know, if I'm having a bad day, I can go in and I'll give Lucy a hug, you know, and she's not going to try and run away from me, you know, and it makes you feel better. And just to be kind and to be nice, you know, because that's all animals want, is they just want to be with us so badly, and they just want us to be nice to them, you know. So I think that's a real kind of lesson, to just be nice.
Everyone needs to be loved. And the dogs give their own special little cuddle, if you like, or the thing. I mean, that's so important. And it's just the companionship, the gentleness that a dog has. It's so beneficial to everybody.
Humans are social creatures, you know, like we're not designed to be alone or to live alone like dogs. They're not designed to live alone, you know, whether they're living in the pack of the family or with other dogs, you know. We all have a better life when we're together, I think.
It is companionship, and we need that. We need companionship, we need connection in life. And if it's not available to you closely from another person, a pet is really superb.
And we'll hear more about the therapeutic value of pets such as dogs later in the programme. But for the moment, I decided to visit Festina Lente Equestrian Centre in Bray, County Wicklow, to find out how therapeutic horse riding courses run there are helping people. Here's Jill Carey, CEO of Festina Lente, to explain what exactly therapeutic riding is.
Therapeutic riding is essentially for people with a physical disability, or perhaps young people on the autistic spectrum, or adults with a disability on the autistic spectrum, and, you know, developmental delay and so on. And it's the movement of the horse which creates a physical well-being and I suppose a very good feel factor for the person as well. But it's been likened, I suppose, in a lot of cases to physiotherapy on horseback. So, for example, a child with Down syndrome has very low muscle tone, and so if you're working with a horse that has a short gait or kind of a stroppy sort of walk, because there are no stirrups and there's no reins, the child is automatically self-adjusting as they're riding, and so that actually helps with their upper body posture. And so therapeutic riding is designed for people with disabilities, and it's been around for, I suppose, since the 1960s, and has become very well recognised as a therapeutic form for improving people's physical and psychosocial well-being.
So just how effective is therapeutic horse riding? Sinead Bayliss, whose daughter does therapeutic riding in Festina Lente.
My youngest, my daughter, is a full-time wheelchair user, and I mean, we were hoping that maybe she could do something up here, but quite amazingly, I brought her up and she had a look around and she decided she wanted to get on a horse. And when she was 2 years old, she got up on a horse and she's been riding pretty much ever since. And
2 years of
2
age.
years of
She
age.
was up on a horse.
She was
Wow.
up on a horse. She couldn't sit on her own. We used to have to hold her on the horse and walk around with her. But she loved it. She absolutely loved it.
That's fantastic, isn't it? And it's an amazing, you know, I'm kind of hearing the same story from other people as well, you know, whatever it is, the animals, it's something that they have that is beyond our ken, but it works. Am I right?
It is, and it's quite amazing, because if you think about the scale of a horse and how powerful a horse is, and if you think of a little person, and it shouldn't work. I mean, you're putting a little person on this big animal and expecting this little person to control it. And I mean, a horse can go in any direction as fast as it wants, but it's quite amazing that they seem to get this bond quite quickly. And it's fabulous for the kids, because it gives them a huge amount of independence, it gives them a huge amount of confidence in themselves and what they can do. And you can just see it in them, and it almost lights them from within if they're confident in what they're doing. And that just trickles down through everything else they do. Suddenly they're thinking, wow, I'm confident at that. Maybe if I enter something with the same kind of feeling, I could be confident when I do something else. And so it permeates the whole of everything else they do if they let it.
Festina Lente Equestrian Centre in Bray provides a unique range of learning, training and employment opportunities that focus on the personal development of participants through their work with horses. Jill Carey.
We provide multiple programs. For example, we work with children from DESH schools, from Bray, from Wicklow, from Dunleary, Rathdown, and essentially that program means that the children come into the service one morning a week and they focus on social and emotional well-being. So they're involved in looking after the ponies, bringing the ponies down to the field, feeding the ponies, and then working with the ponies in such a way that they can start to identify how their behaviours and motions might be affecting the horse or the pony. And that's just one programme. We have another programme called Supported Helper Programme, and we've about 67 adults and young people on that programme. And in essence, what these people they come in and they work with the staff on a one-to-one basis, and it's all about responsible decision making, teamwork, planning, organisation. We have another programme called Neckline Assisted Learning Programme, which is for primary school and secondary school children, and again it's focusing on social and emotional well-being.
And at this juncture in my visit to Festina Lente in Bray, I decided to meet up with some trainees there.
You're talking to Ciara McGrath. I'm on the level 5 programme. I done the level 4, we finished the level 4 on horsemanship. That's just kind of the start, learning about horses, their way of going, riding. The level 5 now is on young horse training. So we haven't got many young horses around here, so it's all about the in-hand work. So we're learning how to do in-hand work with horses. There's no riding, you just learn about young horses.
And Ciara McGrath also had this to say about the therapeutic value of horses for her.
I think the horses, they've helped me a lot with my mental health. I think they do. They help you a lot with your mental health. When you come in here, you leave your problems at the gate and you just come in, it's just you and the horses. There's no problems, there's nothing. It's just they keep you going. It's brilliant, it's amazing. It's even the fact that they let us up and let them ride us. As I said, if they didn't want us to, they'd let us know. It's how patient they are with us. It causes you to be the same with them. And just to teach you a lot of things.
I'm talking with another good person here now in Festina Lente. Who am I talking to?
Amy Gannon.
Now, Amy, what do you do here in Festina Lente?
I am a leader for therapeutic riding.
Right. And what does the work entail, leader for therapeutic riding?
Leading kids with special needs, and I muck out the stables and I take care of the horses and bring them to the field and feed them and groom them, and then take kids for one-on-one support helpers. It's like if they want to groom a horse, they groom the minis or go to the field.
That's fantastic, Amy. So a lot of good work going on. Now, what do you love most about the work?
being around the horses and then seeing the kids like happy, and so yeah.
In other words, the kids are gaining, and kind of it's a win-win right across the board. Would I be right?
Yeah.
And what is it about the horses that, you know, people are able to connect, that, you know, there's a bond made, so to speak?
You feel calm around the horses, and then if you know one of the horse in particular, you feel like you have a connection with that horse and you get a bond with it. So yeah, you get to know all the horses and all their personalities, and you get to know who what horse likes what horse, and what they like in the field and around horses, and what they don't like. So you get to know them all individually.
And after my visit to Festina Lenta in Bray, County Wicklow, I next visited the Irish Horse Welfare Trust's Equine Rescue Centre, also situated in County Wicklow. Now, while there, I had this question to ask Sharon Power, co-founder of the Irish Horse Welfare Trust.
Just how beneficial are horses for people from a therapeutic standpoint?
Well, the research already proves that being around animals releases all kinds of happy hormones, and I think animals pick up as well on people's emotional well-being, and just those two things together can very often work very well. We've had people here with anxiety and various disorders that have been helped by just coming up here and maybe just grooming one of our quieter horses. But we're not involved ourselves in therapeutic programs because it's not our main function. But we are involved now in the new prison project, equine project, over at Castlereagh Prison, which is due to open in July. And we've 8 horses going from here. And whilst it won't be a therapeutic program as such, it'll be a training program, there will be a therapeutic element to it as well. Because obviously the prisons are being rehabilitated, so anything that's going to help them on their journey to their new life on release is going to be helpful to them. And it's exciting because it's the first programme of its type not only in Ireland but in Europe.
And Sharon Power also had this to say about other education programmes run by the Irish Horse Welfare Trust.
We've been involved in education programmes for about 15 years. We initially started in Limerick, and then we've run programmes in lots of other places around the country as well, and in Dublin in particular up to a few years ago. Our course that we run teaches people the basic principles of looking after horses and caring for them and managing them. And we have also put a number of young people through accredited courses as well over that time. So we had, for example, 84 young people in total in Limerick over the years.
And staying with Limerick, Sharon Power also had this inspirational story to divulge.
It was quite remarkable. Well, I found it a very remarkable experience that I happened to witness, which was we were running a programme in a school in Limerick, and part of the programme involved bringing a horse into the schoolyard for students to be close to and groom and pet and that kind of thing. So there was a little girl there who I didn't realise at the time, but she didn't speak and hadn't spoken for a number of years. And as she was brushing the horse's mane, she started smiling first, and then she said something to one of the teachers, and of course everybody was very shocked that she'd suddenly started speaking, and I didn't understand, at the time what was going on. But yeah, so I did see firsthand, you could say, how that connection between people and horses can really be quite profound. Although I don't have any expert knowledge in the area, I mean, I've seen it firsthand, and I also do believe that horses do operate on a very emotional, possibly telepathic level, that they're able to connect with people on.
Kind of a gut instinct, that this is beyond our ken, but there's something going on.
Yeah, whether it's our subconscious or something, I'm not sure, but there definitely is something, and there are great benefits for people to just be around horses.
So why is being around horses and working with them so therapeutically beneficial for people? Jim Fogarty, a horse whisperer from Ballyteague in North County Kildare, who specialises in healing horses.
I've worked with horses here with people. I've seen people that the animal was everything to them. The animal, that it opened up a different line of communication. It opened up something that was missing in their lives, perhaps. And in my life, I'm not putting them out as being extraordinary. no, this can apply to all of us. That opens up parts of us maybe that we don't know. It allows us to discover that side of us.
Like they can sense when you're having a bad day and they'll try to help you along, you know.
Laura Snell, who works with horses in the Irish Horse Welfare Trust in County Wicklow.
Our main job is to help the horses, but it's crazy how much they help us too. So, yeah.
How?
Like, even last week, right, we had 8 new horses come in, and our manager Shelley was having like just a rough day, you know, one of those days, and one of the mares just came up and she just rested her head on her, you know, like it's just telling her, you know, you'll get through the day, it's okay. You know. Yeah, they're really sensitive animals.
And Cal Nolan, who does volunteer work in the Irish Horse Welfare Trust, had this story to share.
Well, a couple of years ago, my mum died, and just like that, I lost my nerve. I couldn't get back up on the mare, and she was good. Like the girl I rescued out here, the mare I rescued out here, like, and
what was the mare's name?
Rihanna, and she's just so placid, and it's like as if she knows what I'm thinking. And if I didn't want to go out on her, well, she was happy enough. And then when I would get up on her, and I think she knows everything I'm saying to her. Like I'd say, now, it's me today, so be good. And she'd stand and I'd get up on her and she'd toddle on and behave herself. Oh, she's done me the world of good. Like even to not be able to go out on her, but to go up and pet her and groom her and hug her, and she'd just stand there, you know. It was like she knew I was upset, you know. But thank God now I'm back on her again now, and it's great. Yeah, absolutely.
You've kind of hit the nail on the head there, you know. She knows maybe you're upset. Yeah. And kind of, you know, I had a pony when I was young myself, and that's where it kind of is at, you know. They really do sense where you're at.
Yeah,
they know, and they're not going to judge you either.
No, exactly, yeah. And you could say anything to them, like, and just, you know, it's not going to go any further. You get out of your system, even if you're depressed or anything like that, especially, you know, depression. You could just blather away there and you feel so much better just getting off your chest. And they're good listeners. Yeah, they're lovely now. Yeah, especially my lady. Yeah, she's very good.
Here a couple of years ago, a father came to me and his daughter had just lost her own mother.
Conor McGuinness, the manager of Ballyteague Stable situated in North County Kildare.
And she got involved with horses, and she was quite shy and quite introvert and, you know, in her shell, and we managed to source her a pony, and she went off, and all of a sudden after the 2 or 3 weeks the penny just dropped and she opened up, and you know, she really started to come out of her shell. And to this day that man still rings me to tell me how his daughter's getting on, and you know, he's now looking for a horse lorry because he's managed to collect a couple of others, and as he says, she's got a taste for the road now, so she's out and about and travelling around, and it really, you know, really helped that girl get through that traumatic phase in her life.
Really, Conor? And how did it happen?
I suppose, I don't know, she just got a bit of confidence from, you know, having to get up and go down to the stables and get involved and look after her horse. And you know, there was people there that she was meeting, and she fell in love with her pony, and she really got involved with the different things that were going on, lessons and that type of thing. And you know, she wanted to compete her pony, and I suppose it took her mind off what was going on at home, maybe, you know. But no, it was a great story, and it's nice to see, and it's great to see that horses can do that for people, you know.
And here's who else I met during my recent visit to Ballyteague Stables.
My name is Aoife. I own a horse called Penny.
Penny, right?
I've had Penny a year now. It's been another month and it'll be a year I've had her.
And Aoife, just tell our listeners what you were telling me earlier on.
Well, like, if I was having a bad day or something like that, I'd come down to the yard here and I'd go up to her, and I wouldn't be in the best forms once I got up on her. But she would genuinely just try her heart out, and she'd actually cheer me up quite a bit. So I think that's the best thing about having a horse, is like, it's just a companion really. And the best thing you can do is bond with the horse. Like, when I first got Penny, I just spent about, I think it was 2 months straight, just like bond with her. I'd spend about 2 hours a day in the stable just grooming her, giving her a brush, plaiting her tail, plaiting her mane, all that sort of thing. And then you just kind of got to know each other a lot better, and then you were working on stuff like that, and it just kind of...
And that's even before you even get up on top of her?
Well, I did get up on top of her.
But only a small bit?
Only a small bit, because I just was unsure about who she was, and I needed to get to know her.
Anyone that spends a lot of their time with horses, you do develop a bond with them.
You just want someone to love them and take care of them, and you know what, to give back is just unbelievable, you know.
Yeah, it's mad how emotional like horses especially can be, you know, and they can really touch your soul. So yeah.
The horses are great for the soul.
Horses understand you. They don't talk back to you, but they do understand you.
Once you have a good horse, you have a best friend, really.
And veering away from the therapeutic value of horses and getting back to dogs. At the beginning of this programme, Brenda Rickard, CEO of Irish Therapy Dogs, briefly discussed some of her work. Irish Therapy Dogs is a voluntary association which provides a pet therapy service to people in hospitals, care centres and many other places throughout the country. So what does a typical therapy dog visit to a care centre or nursing home entail? Brenda Rickard.
We go in and we say we start in the room and we go to each person individually. Now, it might be only a minute. You might say, gosh, that's not very long. But for people in a care centre, you know, we don't overwhelm them. So we go around each one like that and they have their little chat with the dog and they, you know, and we talk to them. And then we sort of double back because obviously some people are more enthusiastic than others. And you can see the difference, you know, even when you walk into the room. And people think people with dementia, Alzheimer's, like they might not know their husbands, their wives, their family. It is incredible how they'll know the day the dog is coming in and the name of the dog. And they really look forward to it. So the dog sort of brings out, even people we have to think everybody has mental capacity. You know, a lot of people think people don't understand, they don't know this or they don't remember. But the dog proves it all. We see it. I mean, we're shocked sometimes ourselves. And the staff even will confirm that maybe somebody never gets involved in other activities. They might be very withdrawn, you know, sad, which is totally understandable. And they'd have a lot of pains and aches and, you know, this. And then when the dog comes in, that just seems to sort of disappear. And they might forget we were there 10 minutes later, but what of it? Hadn't they got those special moments with the dog? So that's the beauty and the therapy of the dog.
And what is it about the dogs that they're able to get the very best out of clients in nursing homes or in hospitals or whatever?
I think it is no words. The dogs, you know, just go to them. They don't judge them. They don't have to feel they have to be saying anything. Some people, like, I mean, even ourselves, like sometimes you might be in the humour to talk to somebody or, you know, yourself, or we might have personality problems with people. Does a dog ever have a personality problem? No. You know, when you think of that, they don't judge them how they look or how they feel. They don't even have to say anything. They can just rub the dog. And even sometimes even looking at the dog. I think the dog isn't a challenge to them and it's wagging its tail. And there's a love there, do you know? And everyone needs to be loved.
And aside from Irish Therapy Dogs, another group which provides a pet therapy service in Ireland is PATA, based in Blackrock, County Dublin. Now, Colin Bird volunteers with PATA, and his dog is named Strider.
Strider's actually a therapy dog. Strider loves it. He gets to meet new people. He gets tons of affection, lots of praise. All of the patients in hospitals, nursing homes, in these sort of facilities love him. He's an unusual type of dog. You know, he's not your standard lap dog or your general type of golden retriever. You know, he's a very large breed of dog. He's 75 kilos. He looks like a lion, but he's incredibly gentle. And so it's something different. Many of these people have never even heard of a Leonberger before. And so it's something new, it's something different, and it brings a smile to their faces.
And Colin, you have another story for us, please, yeah?
Yeah, well, Strider would be, he would occasionally go into St John of God's there in Bray, and as I said, he's a very unusual breed of dog, and there was one particular person in there that absolutely adores dogs, and she would be normally quite quiet and quite reserved, but when Strider would go in, you'd just see her eyes light up, and she would be immediately all over him. And you know, she wouldn't even want to stray too far from his side when Strider was in visiting, and it was absolutely gorgeous to see.
The dogs do what doctors cannot do. Think about it, and doctors will admit to that. Do you know, medicines and everything, if someone is really down and feeling really sad and depressed, and the dog goes in and lifts their spirits, like no medication, no nothing will do that. So that's, I mean, it's a huge plus.
Brenda Rickard of Irish Therapy Dogs, and Robert Walsh, who runs a dog training and dog walking company in Dublin called The Dog Father, had this inspirational story to share.
Laura Lane Hospice, which is an amazing establishment in Sandyford, they asked me would I come and take part in their Paddy's Day parade with the kids, and it's a march around the outside of the building. Obviously with COVID we have to be very careful because some of the kids would already be quite sick, and yeah, so I brought my my 3 golden retrievers, Daisy, Charlie and Indy, who are, I know golden retrievers have, you know, people think that they are very sweet dogs, but these 3 in particular are the sweetest dogs in the country. They are just little angels. They are so pure, and watching how they interacted with the kids was no other word for it. Like, it was beautiful. Like, and you know, these kids have had a really tough life. You know, some of them are only 2 and 3. They're on ventilators. They can't walk, or you know, they've serious conditions that, you know, are you know, it's why they're there. And just seeing how gentle and soft the girls were with the kids was really touching, and to see how happy the parents and the kids were with the dogs, it was brilliant for everyone involved. And I actually bumped into one of the nurses yesterday who said that, you know, they're all still talking about it, and you know, they're going to be getting me back for a few more things like that. And the dogs, that's what those dogs are made for.
Our dogs bring so many special moments to so many people throughout this country, and they're very special moments.
Dogs are really special. Like,
believe it or not, therapy dogs are nowadays often used in schools. Brenda Rickard of Irish Therapy Dogs once again.
We have our reading programme for children now. Our volunteer that would be a retired teacher. We'd like more, say, maybe somebody that was in the teaching to join us, and then we do a reading programme in schools for children that might be, I mean, they might be just nervous, or, you know, children with autism or that, and they go into the school. That would be their visit, if you like, and we do, say, 3 children at a time, and they read to the dog, and that's made a huge difference as well. So,
and how does that work on the ground, so to speak? I mean, you know, such visits to the schools with the therapy dogs.
Yeah, well, a teacher obviously has to be present. So usually we'd have sort of bean bags or that on the floor, and the dog sort of sits in the middle, and the children, 3 will say, and our volunteer. And as I say, it would be somebody that would have a teaching background. And the children would have their little books, and they would read to the dog. Now, it's incredible the difference it makes, because the dog is there sitting looking at them, and they're looking at the dog, so they don't feel threatened. The dog isn't going to say that isn't the right word, or if they, you know, skip a word, or if they miss something or can't pronounce a word. And then, like I've seen, you'd say maybe a child would be very shy or not confident, and they'd be sort of speaking very low, and all you have to say is, "Now, Magic's the dog doesn't hear," and you hold up Magic's ear and say, and then the child will raise the voice and be more confident, and it's lovely. It's really lovely. So we do about 15 minutes for each group, and so we do about 3 groups in the hour. And the dog will just sit there like wagging his tail or looking at them, and sometimes it does have a little snooze. So then we do that sort of group, those 9, sort of say for 6 weeks, and then do another group. You know, it depends on how many, you know, are in the school.
And to find out more about animals and pets in Irish schools, I recently visited a certain school in South County Dublin.
You're in School Columkill Junior in Ballybrack in County Dublin, and my name is Catherine Wynne. I am a teacher in the school. So over the years we've had many visiting pets and animals in the school. We have butterflies on a yearly basis. We have eggs that come into the school, so that's the Cock-a-Doodle-Doo project. So I'd like to talk about that first. Eggs come into the classroom. The farmer sends us eggs in an incubator. We get to observe the chickens hatching, the little chicks. The children absolutely adore this project. They are able to observe the chickens from what they hear about hatching. They don't have we live in Dublin here. We don't really have chickens hatching outside, so they're able to see that. The chicks are, we get to keep them in the classroom for a couple of weeks and observe them growing. And the other visiting classes come into our classroom to look at the chickens, and our children are able to explain what is going on. So it builds up their language skills, their communication. It works with their empathy skills. That you have to be incredibly quiet when the eggs are in the incubator. Any big loud noises and the chickens might not hatch. So we have to keep we have to care for them really, really well. And it's a big responsibility. And even like our junior infants really understand that, and they really care for the chickens.
That's great, and I'd say kind of, and as you said, it's building up all those core life skills, empathy, listening, selflessness, so to speak. Would it be right, Kat?
Absolutely. It's to care for for an animal, because we're all animals, to care for another animal, to learn those basic skills is unreal. They are able, most children have pets around here. They adore pets. They learn so much. The responsibility of having a dog at home is huge, as probably any dog owner knows that. But in the classroom, to see chickens or butterflies even, to be able to care for different types of animals, to give the children that experience is wonderful.
That's great. Well, I just want to say, Catherine, on behalf of all our listeners, thanks very much for a great insight into the great work going on here in School Columkill Junior in Ballybrack in South County Dublin. And long may such endeavours continue.
Thank you very much, Paul.
After my visit to School Columkill Junior in Ballybrack, County Dublin, I next met 2 people outside the school, and here they are to introduce themselves.
Tara and Maisie.
And Maisie, you have a beautiful dog, Maisie, with you. What is the dog's name? He's trying to eat my microphone.
It's a girl.
It's a girl, right?
Yeah, her name's Sky.
Sky, right. And what age is she, Maisie?
I don't really know. She's 2 then.
2 years of age,
2 years,
right?
yeah.
And tell us now, Maisie, you're in School Columkill yourself?
Yeah.
Great, great. And I mean, just we'll talk about Sky first. What do you like about Sky?
I love that she's playful, and she always runs when someone else is running.
Right, okay. And
yeah.
And the kisses and the cuddles.
Yeah.
And tell us now, have you ever had any kind of pets visit the school?
Yeah, the chickens. There's 2 chickens, a brown one and a white one, and the white one had 2 eggs.
That's fantastic. 2 eggs, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I mean, and I'd say, what do you kind of, okay, you have chickens in the school. I mean, is there anything you can kind of learn from the chickens or animals in general,
Yeah. We learned that any animal
is kind of vicious, but they still protect their families.
It's the way you treat them as well.
And it's the way you treat them. That's how it is.
Absolutely, and I've got Maisie's mum here, Tara. Tara, I mean, Sky, beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Obviously, a core member of the family.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, everybody loves her, and she's so good. So it makes a difference when she's really calm and placid, like.
And Sky, sometimes, like this morning, she comes up to our room and cuddles with my mum.
Yeah, jumps all over the bed, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Get us all up.
Yeah.
And what is it about dogs, you know? I mean, and pets, cats as well. I mean, they just want love, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's really true.
It. Like, just wants so much affection, and she gives it back.
Yeah.
So she's perfect, like.
Tara, you were just saying as well, there's benefits kind of, you know, on kind of teaching responsibility.
Oh, definitely. My daughter Alicia, now she would do feeding times. She'd feed her in the morning and then feed her at night. So the dog kind of looks for her when she knows the time. And then my son Scott, he'll bring her out for walks constantly as well. So it's great to have her, and it's great for the kids to actually have a bit of responsibility with her.
Yeah, and that's why it's not just all fun and games. There's a big
definitely
responsible
not.
factor. You know, you are taking care of this core member of the family.
Definitely.
And Sky is depending on you, full stop.
100%. But everybody works together and we all look after her. She's not just one person's dog, she's the whole family's dog. So everyone chips in and helps out all the time, every day. Because it's not just now and again, it's everyday thing.
That's great, and I can see Maisie, you're giving Sky a cuddle there, and sure that's what it's all about. And thanks very much, Maisie and Tara.
No
and Sky.
problem, thank you.
Thank you.
And after my chat with Tara and Maisie in Ballybrack in South County Dublin, I next visited nearby Killiney Hill Park, and here's who I met there.
Dorina.
Now, Dorina, you have a gorgeous dog there. Who is this dog?
That's Bobo.
Okay, Bobo. What breed is she?
Tibetan Terrier.
Tibetan Terrier. What age?
8 years of age.
Okay, just try and give our listeners a word picture of beautiful Bobo, because she's a gorgeous dog now, really is.
Well, he's a small...
Oh, sorry, he's a gorgeous dog, yeah.
It's all right. He's a medium to small size dog, and he's sort of like if you wanted to get a cutesy, like, you know those pictures of Rover the mutt, he's a bit like that, except he's not actually a mutt. The breeder would be very upset at me calling him a mutt, but he kind of looks like a lovable mutt with big brown eyes.
Great, and he's a lovely looking dog. There's no doubt. He's looking across at me there now with looking.
What's the story? Why are we not walking?
Why are we not walking? As a dog owner myself, I know exactly what's happening here, the dynamic. And Dorina, just Bobo, I mean, just what does he mean to yourself and your family, please?
Well, Bobo, we have one child, a son, and I grew up in a family with lots of siblings, as did my husband. And you know, when you're having a bad day or the whole world's against you, it's lovely to have a dog who always sees things your way. So we found after we got Bobo, if ever our son was just sort of off form, all it took was, you know, a few minutes of cuddling with the dog, and that was it. He was back to himself, right as rain, because I'd be a fairly strict parent, so he mightn't have always thought that was right, my young fella, but the dog always put him back into good form.
Why is that? I mean, why is it about that animals, dogs or cats or whatever, you know, have that effect on us as human beings that, do you know what I mean, that to just bring out the best?
I think they just love you unconditionally, absolutely unconditionally, and they're always happy to see you, no matter what, whether you deserve it or not. And I would think a lot of the time I don't deserve it, my husband and son do, because they dote on him all the time. But I think the main thing, they love you unconditionally. He always wants to play, even though he's 8. And also he senses if you're upset. And when I was a kid, I had a dog who used to follow me around if I was upset and lick my face if I was crying. And he, when there was somebody in the house, related family, somebody was very ill, he was like our shadow. He just, you know, he just knew. So
Are you for real? The dog is that sensitive to your feelings that he can attune to how you're feeling inside, and he gets you and he wants to help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about dog psychology, but I guess all the overthinking we do, they don't do. So they just go on their intuition or something.
And kind of in a way, Darina, we probably maybe lost something in our progress in our march to civilization. Would it be right that the dogs are just connected to Mama Nature, and it ain't rocket science?
Exactly, and they're the most unselfish creatures. It's very little about them and a lot about the family, you know, which is lovely.
After my chat with Darina in Killiney Hill Park, County Dublin, I next got in my car and drove to Curracloe Beach in County Wexford. And here's who I got talking with there.
My name is Liam McGee. I'm here with my dog Tara.
Now, Liam, you have your beautiful dog Tara. I mean, what breed is Tara? What age and so on?
And Tara is a 12-year-old cross between a husky and a Rottweiler. Which sounds ferocious, but she's actually a lovely dog. She's very soft, very, very tame.
She's an absolutely gorgeous looking dog, you know. I mean, what does Tara mean for yourself, your family, and so on?
Tara is a member of the family. She runs the house. We've had Tara for 12 years. She was initially my father's dog, but as he got on in years, she needed a bit more exercise, so we took her on. My wife Una is actually allergic to dogs, but day by day she encroached into our house, and now she's a full-time family member, and Una is no longer allergic to dogs.
And I'd say you must be as fit as a fiddle, because I mean, I'd say she likes to walk, and obviously she has to be walked.
She has. She will need a 1 hour walk in the morning, and then around about 4 o'clock, if I'm having a cup of tea, she'll start to nudge my elbow and bump me and bark at me for another walk. So possibly 2 hours a day will keep her happy. Your 10,000 steps, a dog will have you there every day. But the best benefit for us really was our son has Asperger's, form of autism, and as a child, very quiet, very introspective. But when the doggy came along, all of a sudden, because she's a nice, big, impressive looking dog, he was quite happy to go out of the house, go walking around the street, because I guess he felt a little bit more protected and a little bit more looked after. And then, as a consequence, he was able to talk to people and just get out a lot more. And he's never been the same child since, you know. He's actually 25 now. And he's running Ironman competitions, and he's working as an actuary and doing speaking, public speaking, etc. So the change in him is unbelievable, all because of the dog.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, a small little thing, so what we would perceive as a small little thing, such as a dog, but all of a sudden has a huge kind of consequential effect on people's lives.
Well, very much so. She turned his life around completely. He's a totally different, well, he's 25 now, not a child anymore, but I would put it down to the dog, just completely, unreal. And all because he felt he had some company, and he felt she understood him, you know.
In this programme, we've investigated the therapeutic value of pets and animals in Irish society, with a special focus on dogs and horses. What's clear from all contributors is that natural and healing bonds exist between us humans and animals. Pets and animals, whether it be cats, dogs, horses or whatever, give us social support, unconditional love and comfort, as well as soothe us. Most important of all, they make us more human and compassionate. So what, if any, are the most important lessons which we can learn from pets and animals? Becky Bristow, CEO of Dogs Trust Ireland, had this to say about what dogs can teach us.
Well, I would have to say dogs are masters of mindfulness. They're very in the now. They're very positive. Everything is, have you ever noticed everything is their favourite thing? You know, whether it's greeting you or it's their food or their bed, everything is right now in this moment and really expressing their emotions. They don't hold back. Now, I do realise as humans we have to be a little bit careful how we express ourselves. But, you know, not storing up your emotions is a really good lesson. And I say focusing on the now and finding the joy in as many things as possible and the simple things and some of the same things over and over. And really, dogs are incredibly loving. And is there anything better than that, really?
For me, the most important thing that my dogs bring to my life is to really make me engage in the current moment, in the here and now, because dogs only have the here and now. They don't have a future in their heads, and they don't really dwell on the past. Like, they're just in the moment. So that's the most important thing I think that we can take off dogs, is to really, really be present and you know, enjoy yourself, like, and have the crack, like, because that's, you know, that's what it's all about. There only is the here and now, really, like. So, you know, we could all be dead and gone in a heartbeat, like. So have fun while you can.
Dog walker and trainer Robert Walsh. By the way, all music in this documentary was composed and performed by Cork City-based musician Cliff Wedgbury. Now, concerning the important lessons which we can learn from pets and animals, well, I'm going to leave the last few words with Sharon Power of the Irish Horse Welfare Trust, and then various other contributors.
The biggest lesson with any animal is responsibility. I mean, that, you know, responsibility for its life and its welfare.
You have an animal, it's depending on you, and it's up to you to look after it.
You have to be prepared to commit to an animal as well, particularly a horse. So it teaches people commitment as well.
The dog is not just for Christmas, it lives a long time. It is a lot of responsibility.
It's great fun, but yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean, you have to be, you know, it's like having another person. You're responsible for him. But the benefits, like, of having him, you don't mind. It's great because he's such a good addition. Yeah.
When you kind of get a dog and get to know a dog, I think it's very calming because you're looking after them. The same with a horse and really any animal. There's different things you do to look after them, like I'd be riding the pony, or you can go and walk your dog, look after your bunny. You just have to give them so much time, devote your time to them, and then I think you get really good results and a really good partnership.
Pets, they change our lives. They deserve to be really well looked after and loved.
It's what you put in, you know, you get back in spades, and if you treat your animals well, they'll treat you well. It's as simple as that.
Funded by the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland with the television licence fee.